U.S. forces working to restore freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz while maintaining the naval blockade against Iran. President Trump warning Tehran any interference or attacks will be dealt with forcefully. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino, and Bill Hemmer just found his phone. That was a good one.
Someone took it.
So
That's
we haven't
why.
even left. Where could it possibly
And we will
go?
not level accusations now, will we?
We will not.
We shan't. I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. Fast-moving developments. Right now, U.S. ships resume sailing through the strait. Project Freedom is now providing safe transit for commercial ships and their crews stranded in the Persian Gulf since the war began. CENTCOM announcing a pair of U.S. Navy guided missile destroyers have sailed into the Gulf, while two U.S.-flagged merchant ships have safely sailed out.
So Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was with us earlier, and he said the U.S. has absolute control of the key waterway, and it's time for our international partners to step up.
They are trying to cut off international freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz, and the U.S. is opening that up. The Iranians do not have control of the strait. We have absolute control of the strait. We have blockaded the ships going into or out of Iranian ports. Their economy is in free fall. We are saying, for the good of the international community, let these ships out. And we are expecting our international partners to engage in the same thing. Now would be a good time for our international partners to step up and put pressure on Iran.
And Fox team coverage, General Jack Keane joins us on set with analysis. But first, Bryan Llenas, he is back. Oh, he's still, I should say, in Israel, Tel Aviv, Israel. Good to see you this morning. Hi, Bryan.
Dana, good morning. Well, just breaking in the last few minutes, the United Arab Emirates is now accusing Iran of hitting with two drones, striking an empty oil tanker as it made its way through the Strait of Hormuz. An attack again by two Iranian drones. At the same time, South Korea says it is now working to verify that one of its vessels was also attacked by Iran. Now, this comes as Iran is warning the United States not to interfere in the Strait of Hormuz or else. Take a look at this statement from Iran's head of the military of their united forces. It says, quote, "We warn that any foreign armed forces, especially the aggressive U.S. Army, will be attacked if they intend to approach and enter the Strait of Hormuz." CENTCOM this morning denied an Iranian state media report claiming that Iran hit a U.S. warship with two missiles attempting to pass through the strait. CENTCOM says, quote, "No U.S. Navy ships have been struck." Yesterday, an oil tanker was attacked in the Strait of Hormuz, hit by unknown projectiles north of the UAE. Just before that, a cargo ship was attacked by multiple small boats near the coast of Iran. There have been more than 24 attacks in the strait since the war began. Now, President Trump launched Project Freedom this morning, the humanitarian effort to safely guide some 800 cargo ship tankers and 20,000 crew members that are stranded out of the strait. The U.S. has established an enhanced security area south of the strait's usual traffic area along Oman's territorial waters. And so far, two U.S. flagged merchant ships have successfully gotten out. Now, the Wall Street Journal says U.S. naval ships are not escorting ships out of the strait, but CENTCOM says guided missile destroyers, 100+ land and sea-based aircraft, and 15,000 service members are supporting this mission. Now, one of the world's largest international shipping organizations, BIMCO, is expressing uncertainty and concern. BIMCO tells Fox that no formalized details or guidance on Project Freedom has been sent to the shipping industry, adding, quote, "Without consent from Iran to let commercial ships transit safely through the Strait of Hormuz, it is currently not clear whether the Iranian threat to ships can be degraded or suppressed." Now, the question now is, Dana, whether Iran will continue its attacks and whether or not that will violate the ceasefire and potentially restart military action. Dana?
All right, Bryan, thank you for that update. Bill?
Okay, so Dana, over here on the map, we'll let you know, bring you up to speed a little bit of what Bryan was reporting there in the past 24 hours. Remember here, this is Pakistan and this is Oman, and this is where the U.S. Navy has set up what has been a very successful blockade for ships that are trying to do business with Iranian ports now. If you visit an Iranian port, the U.S. Navy is going to be watching you very, very carefully. So what Bryan was describing right there, I'll put you here, is that this is an island here in Iran, and one of these vessels hit by small crafts And around the same time, you had this tanker that was reported hit by unknown projectiles. What that means, where they came from, how serious they were, we're still waiting for some sort of damage assessment on that. But this particular craft right here, it was bound for the Strait of Hormuz, came under attack in the reverse field, and we believe right now it's being held there. It's being stopped in Oman. We talk a lot about the Gulf of the Strait of Hormuz. At its narrowest point, it is 20 miles wide, but some of these waters are very shallow. So in essence, they have two major shipping lanes, okay? One's about 2 miles wide coming in, another one about 2 miles wide going out. And that is the principal shipping lanes that many have used for really decades right now. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.